Everyone, it's Emily Fox. Today's going to be all about my most anticipated releases of 2021. So basically books that are coming out next year that I'm hoping to get around to reading. Some I'm more excited about than others. I'll let you know, explain everything. Some I still need to catch up with series. And as always, I will probably have to do like a second one mid-year next year because they don't always announce the ones that are coming out at the end of the year way in advance. So let's do this. I tried to do like a top 10-ish. You'll see. I'm gonna go in order that they're coming out just to try and be as helpful as possible. The first one is Across the Green Grass Fields by Shannon Maguire. I actually did read this. I had an arc of it, but I just wanted to announce it because I know a lot of people were reading the Wayward Children series. So this is the 6th and last book in this series. It's 176 pages because I will mention that because for some reason it gets me excited. Our books are fantasy books. Usually I would categorize them as YA, but in my opinion this one is almost more like middle grade. All of our books tend to be quite inclusive and have great representation. For example, in this book you're following a main character who is intersex, which I've never read a book with a main character that was. If you enjoy horses, unicorns, centaurs, this might be a good book for you. I can't really say much more because, you know, it's so short, but for anyone that doesn't know, basically kids that go to magical universe through doors. So yes, it was pretty solid, just not my personal cup of tea. The 12th of January. Second book that I'm looking forward to reading is A History of What Comes Next by Cyril Nouvel. You might know him. He has written Sleeping Giants, which everyone was talking about when it came out. That series was good. So I am excited to read more by him. Once again, he's coming out with an adult sci-fi, February 2nd, 300 pages. I was trying to make sense of the summary on the Goodreads page, and it seems like it's almost historical fiction sci-fi. You're following two women who are trying to change the course of history through, little changes here and there, trying to convince people and accelerate the race to space. It does also mention First Contact thriller, which I love. First Contact with aliens. I don't know if that's what it means, hoping it does. And yeah, I feel like it's going to be either really good or I'm going to be really disappointed because whenever historical fiction includes anything about the Nazi or stuff like that, I'm like, we'll see how it goes. I feel like I never read any good books that has like Hitler in there without it being kind of disappointing, except that one book that is only in French. Not true. There's no English translation, but I believe there are a couple other ones, and it was La Part de l'Autre by, what's his name? Emmanuel Schmid. I'm missing something. Anyway, that was a good one, but that's the only one I've read. I'm going on a tangent here, but basically you're following one chapter, what really happened in Hitler's life, and then what could have happened if he hadn't been rejected to go to the art school. So that was good. I do actually have an arc of that one, so I'm hoping to read it in January so I can let you know in my wrap up, if it was worth it or not, so you can pick it up as soon as it's out. Oh, the third one. I am so excited for that one. The Galaxy and the Ground Within by Becky Chambers. It's going to be the 4th book in the Wayfarers series, which has to be one of the most wholesome character-driven sci-fi series ever. Coming out February 18th. It's going to be 400 pages. That's a big one. And you're following, once again, characters, aliens. I think they're all companion novels. Book 1 and 2 had some similar characters, but afterwards, not really. I'm assuming it's going to be the same thing with this one. You're following a group of 3 strangers that are left stranded on this little planet that is basically a stop in between other space travel. And I don't know what's going to happen, 400 pages for that, but I'm excited. So far, my favorites are literally in the order that they came out. Like, the first book is number 1 in my ranking, number 2 in 2nd place, 3rd in 3rd place. So we'll see where the 4th one goes. And it says people are compelled to confront where they've been, where they might go, and what they are or could be to each other. I'm sure it's going to be wholesome. They're all wholesome. March 23rd, which is my dad's birthday. 320 pages. Every Vow You Break by Peter Swanson. I have a complicated relationship with his books. I feel like I should do a video once I've read all of them to like show you how hit and miss they are to me. To be fair, I think I read my favorite by him. The first book I picked up was my favorite, which is The Kind Worth Killing. That was his best one in my opinion. They're all like mystery thrillers. And that one was really solid. This one I'm a little nervous because of the premise. Let me explain it, you might see. You're following this woman who, during her bachelorette party, cheated, had a one-night stand. See, already there, I'm not interested. Sexy guy who wouldn't give his real name. And she goes on to try and go and marry her future husband. But before that can happen, that mysterious man starts stalking her. So a little nervous, not gonna lie. We'll see how that goes, but yes, a psychological thriller coming out, an adult one, obviously. So we'll read it for sure. Okay, the next one I'm cheating a little bit because I haven't read the first one yet, but when do I not cheat in my videos? Rule of Wolves, which is the second book in the King of Scars duology. It's to, pressure myself into reading the first book. It was on my TBR for this year. I just, the slump has been pretty terrible in the beginning of the year. Companion duology to The Grisha World, basically, by Leigh Bardugo. But it's coming out March 30th and it's 500 pages. So yes, I need to just do it. One that I didn't know was coming out until like pretty recently is Broken in the Best Way Possible by Jenny Lawson. It's coming out April 6th. And it's going to be 288 pages. I have read her 2 other books. My favorite one is Furiously Happy. All of her books are nonfictions about how, kind of memoir-ish, I guess, explaining how she's dealing with her mental health issues. And they're really funny in a relatable way. And I feel like I don't read self-help, I just can't do it. But this is like as close to it as it's gonna be for me. They're not really self-help, but like she's just, for example, in Furiously Happy, she was purposely choosing to try and be as happy as possible, even though she's dealing with all of these things. So I don't know exactly what this one is going to be about. I feel like she's probably still going to be talking about her depression and everything, but I will happily read it. Oh, another one, I'm kind of cheating. Fugitive Telemetry. This is going to be the 6th book, I think the last one in the Murderbot Diaries series by Martha Wells. It's coming out April 27th and it's going to be 176 pages. Okay, listen, I have only read the first 3 books. But bear with me, I'm already on the waiting list for the 4th one at my library, and the 5th one is going to be on my TBR for 2021 because it's going to be part of my Goodreads reading challenge because it is one of the nominees in the sci-fi section. So I could totally get around to reading the 6th one. To be fair, all of her books are really short, like 100-something pages, except for the 5th one, which I believe is like 350. But I will still hopefully get around to reading all of them. They're adult sci-fi. They're actually funny. In my opinion, the first one so far is the best one. The second one was kind of disappointing. And the third one, by the end, it finally picked up. So I'm still looking forward to continuing the series. But yeah, I'm definitely not up to date with that one. But still, we can all be excited. Okay, the next one is definitely one of the ones I'm looking forward to reading the most. And it is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. It's coming out May 4th and it's going to be almost 500 pages. I once again have a complicated relationship with this author. I think The Martian is one of the best audiobooks of all time. I loved it. The Egg, also by him, is a short story you can find online PDF. It's like 30 pages. It's also adult sci-fi and it's one of the short story I make most people read. Every time someone's like, oh, I don't really read or I don't really care for sci-fi, I'm like, read this. And it changes their mind. But yes, these 2 were great, but then I really didn't care for Artemis. So, But once again, he's coming out with a book where there's this trope of someone stuck in space having to try and survive with just their, skills. So I'm really enjoying this trope by him. In this one, it seems to be that this main character doesn't really remember what happened, but all of his crewmates died and he's stuck in the tiny ship trying to fix something to save humanity, but he doesn't really remember what's going on. So that does sound intriguing. I'm not sure how accurate it is because there's just this little summary on Goodreads, but a new science-based thriller. Yes, absolutely up my alley. So yes, we'll be reading this in May if possible. And then 2021 is looking so much brighter because Becky Chambers is coming out with a 2nd book in the same year. Isn't that the best? Ipsum for Wild Built, which is going to be the first book in the Monk and Robot series. That just sounds crazy. It's coming out July 13th and it's going to be 160 pages. So once again, very short, hopefully wholesome. It kind of sounds wholesome. From what I'm understanding, because it seems a little strange, robots centuries ago decided to walk off and leave humans alone. And then one day a monk meets a robot and he's coming back to ask them, based on a promise, to check in and ask, what do people need? So I don't know, kind of intriguing. It's saying how her new series basically asks, in a world where people have what they want, does having more matter? I will read literally anything she writes at this point. So yes, July, will be reading. The next one, I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to get around to reading it, but I thought I would mention it because a lot of people will probably be very excited. It was supposed to come out last year. It was pushed back to 2021. Now the date they're saying is September 16th, and it's going to be 800 pages. Empire of the Vampire by J. Kristoff, which is going to be an adult book about vampires. I feel like it's coming back, you know, people are wanting to read about vampires all over again. And I have to say, when it says 27 years have passed since the last sunrise, it does sound intriguing. So we'll see if I get around to reading it, but it's definitely something to add to your TBR if you've been missing vampires. Okay, the next one I'm also cheating, but I have a good news to announce with it, so it works. The Thorn of Amberlane by Scott Lynch. This is the fourth book in the Gentleman Bastard series. I haven't started the series yet because I have book 1 and 2 on my shelf, but the fourth one had been pushed back indefinitely because the author got sick, I believe, and now there's finally a date. Did I mention it? October 12th, and it's going to be 500 pages. I'm someone that hates to wait in between books in a series, especially if you don't know if they're ever going to be completed or, you know, you're gonna have to wait years. I don't like that. So I prefer to wait until they're almost done. I believe the series is 6-ish books. So I didn't want to start it until, you know, things were back on track. So now that the fourth book is coming out next year, I think I can safely add the first one to my TBR for 2021. And if I love it, I can easily binge, you know, all 4 books in 1 year. So yay! And then last but not least for this video, there's no specific date, but if there's an author, I believe it's Brandon Sanderson. Nowhere, which is the third book in the Skyward series, which is a YA sci-fi series. And I have loved book 1 and 2. Book 1 starts with the remnant of humanity being constantly under attack by aliens. The second book becomes so much bigger than that, super intriguing, and I have no idea what's going to happen in the third book. There will be 4 books, by the way, in the series. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm dying to know and just get more of Doomslug. He was mentioning a few years ago that he was planning on coming out with the third book in spring, I believe, of 2021. I haven't checked when the date is announced. I will make it clear for sure, especially on Goodreads. But no matter when it comes out, I will read it, and I'm just happy that it's so far being announced for 2021. So these are the books currently I am anticipating the releases of for 2021. Let me in the comment section the ones you are personally excited about, whether they are in this video or not. Thumbs up, subscribe. I will be putting more videos on the screen that I recommend you check out, and I will see you in my next video very soon. Bye.